We'll use your savings to pay for this entire house. It's a large, beautiful family home.
My husband Larry was relying on my savings to purchase such a luxurious home. When Larry and his mother saw my bank balance, they panicked and got furious, leading to some shocking actions. Even Larry and I were stunned to discover the hidden side of his elegant mother. My name is Mary. I lost my parents when I was very young and was raised by relatives. My grandparents were very kind, and my cousins treated me like a sibling. Of course, they never treated me badly. In fact, they were always too kind.
My boys never listen to me. Sorry, Mary. I hope they're not influencing you badly.
While my cousins would get scolded, I was treated like a guest and never really got in trouble. Even though I was grateful, a part of me always felt like I didn't truly belong to the family. I lived with a quiet sense of loneliness and isolation. Despite these feelings, I put on a brave face, always cheerful and full of energy during my childhood. I had a childhood friend named Larry, who I'd known since kindergarten.
Hey, Mary, hurry up. Let's go to the park. I'll leave without you.
Wait a second, I'm coming. Larry was a loud, wild boy with a sharp tongue, but we were really close. Sometimes he was mean, but he was like a brother to me, and we fought like siblings. We spent hours at our secret hideout, climbing trees, getting scrapes, and getting scolded by the neighbors for being too loud. Being with Larry made me feel at ease. Larry lived alone with his mother.
My dad left us. He found another woman, so I'm the one who has to protect Mom.
He would say this often, even as a kid. His mother was always well-dressed and refined, even though she was raising a wild child. She ran a piano class at the local community center, and everyone saw her as an elegant lady. Honestly, I found Larry's mother a little intimidating.
Larry, you're always playing with Mary, aren't you? Doesn't Mary have any girlfriends? You shouldn't act too rough. It's not good for a girl.
Her words were often sharp, and I always felt she was tough on me. She never showed me a kind expression and always seemed distant, but she was very gentle with the girls in her piano class. She was well known in the neighborhood as a respected piano teacher. Around middle school, I teased Larry about his mother once. Your mom is always so perfect.
She's just normal at home. The house is messy and she only looks neat outside.
Larry said this bluntly, but I didn't fully understand since I'd never been to his house. As we grew older, Larry started hanging out more with the boys, and I began spending more time with the girls. We drifted apart, barely exchanging greetings anymore. After high school, we went our separate ways, and I didn't know what happened to Larry after that. I moved out to attend college and started working part-time to support myself. It was a tough life, but it was easier than living with my relatives. After graduating, I landed a job at a well-known company. I went from being a bit of a tomboy to a full-fledged career woman. I worked hard and eventually became a manager with several employees under me. My savings were well above average for my age, and I had earned the trust of my company's chairman. He often took me out for meals and gave me advice, treating me like his own daughter. One day, I confided in him about my hesitation toward marriage. I don't have parents, and I can't imagine myself as a wife or a mother.
Family is important, but it comes with its own challenges.
The chairman looked a bit lonely as he said this. I was fortunate to be well liked by him and grateful for his support. Around that time, there was a family funeral, and I returned to my hometown for the first time in years. While walking through the old neighborhood, I decided to stop by a bar for a drink. As I sipped my drink, I wondered how my old friends were doing. I wonder if Larry's doing well.
Mary? Is that really you?
Larry? No way. I'm so surprised. It's been years.
It's been forever. Middle school, right? It feels like 100 years.
You haven't changed at all.
Neither have you. You've become a beautiful woman.
We laughed and joked like old times, even though I hadn't had such a carefree conversation with anyone in years. Larry and I reconnected that night, talking nonstop.
I've been living here all along. I'm still single.
He waved his hand to show he wasn't wearing a ring.
What about you? Still single too?
Yeah, I've been focused on work. Larry worked at a small local company, and he was amazed when I told him about my job and position.
Mary, a career woman? I never would have guessed. You must have a ton of savings.
Well, yeah, I've been saving up. I've got some dreams I want to pursue. We ended up staying at the bar for about 3 hours that night.
You know, I think it's nice that we can still have fun together like this. It feels like family. We're not kids anymore, but maybe it's time to settle down. What do you think?
Larry said this with such seriousness that I couldn't help but feel a little flustered. Yeah, maybe it's not such a bad idea. We started dating that night, rekindling our old friendship and turning it into something more. Larry lived about an hour and a half away by car from where I worked. During the week, I was too busy to see him, but I would visit him on weekends. I would help tidy up his apartment and cook meals for us.
This is so good. You're going to make a great wife, Mary.
He would tease me, but his playful nature reminded me of the boy he used to be. It wasn't a thrilling romantic relationship, but I was happy. After about 6 months of this, Larry proposed.
Will you marry me? Will you become part of my family?
Yes, I will. Let's do this together. I never expected to get married, but marrying my childhood best friend felt like destiny. But what about your mom? She was always so strict. Do you think she'll be okay with me?
Don't worry about that. That was a long time ago.
But I'm not from a wealthy background, and I'm not exactly the type of woman your mom would expect.
Mary, you work so hard. You're amazing. My mom will see that.
Larry held my hand and reassured me. On the day I was supposed to meet his mother, I expected to go to his family home, but instead, we met at a stylish cafe near their house.
Mary, it's been a long time.
Larry's mother hadn't changed at all. She was still elegant and refined. It's been years. You're still as beautiful as ever.
Thank you. And look at you, Mary. You turned into such a lovely woman. Your parents would have been so proud of you.
She smiled as she said this, but there was an air of superiority.
40 years in the workforce, and still no time for a family? My parents were brilliant too, always supported me in everything.
Her quiet boast about her upbringing didn't go unnoticed.
We've decided to get married, and we're thinking of living together. It'll be good for everyone.
Larry's casual mention of living together took me by surprise. Wait, living together? I didn't know about this.
Yeah, I didn't tell you? Well, now you know.
I was caught off guard, not knowing how to respond. I was busy with work and didn't feel equipped to live with someone as proper as Larry's mother.
Well, that sounds like a wonderful idea. I welcome it.
Can I think about it a little more? For now, Larry and I moved into a rented apartment as newlyweds, but he kept bringing up the idea of living with his mother.
Let's move in with my mom. She'll do all the housework and you can focus on your job.
Each time, I dodged the conversation, but one day Larry brought it up again.
You have enough savings now to build a house. Let's do it.
Wait, I've been saving for something important, a dream of mine.
My dream is for all of us to live happily together.
Larry said this with a smile, cutting me off. That night, I went to bed, unsure of what to do. After a while, Larry stopped bringing up the topic of living with his mother. However, his drinking got worse. Every time I came home from work, he was already drinking heavily. He had always been a drinker, but over time, it became more of a problem.
We're moving out next month. The house is finished.
What? You never told me this.
You wouldn't agree, so I had to build it without your input. Sorry.
How could you? We're moving in a week? I was in shock. Larry had gone behind my back and built a house with his mother. He had forced the situation.
We're moving in together, Mary. I want us to be happy.
Larry looked sad as he said this, so I didn't argue. There wasn't enough time to cancel the lease or undo the construction, so I agreed to move in with him and his mother. I told myself I wouldn't regret it, but soon I realized how naive I was. The house was grand, far more luxurious than the other homes in the neighborhood. Larry's mother, however, turned out to be much lazier than I imagined. She spent all day lounging on the couch, wearing an old, stretched-out t-shirt. Nothing was packed or organized, and the house was a mess. Should I help you unpack?
Oh, sure. Just put things wherever you think is best.
She didn't lift a finger, leaving all the housework to me. I realized quickly that Larry's mother wasn't as refined as I thought. Hey, Larry, do you think your mom might be struggling mentally?
No, that's just how she is. She's always been lazy at home.
He laughed, brushing it off. I had assumed he was just being modest before, but now I knew the truth.
Mary, where did you put my dress? I have a lunch with friends tomorrow. Could you also iron my dress for the piano class? You really need to be more organized. She sighed as if I were the problem. Larry's mother continued to teach piano at the community center, always dressing elegantly for her students. But at home, she treated me like a servant, ordering me around. Larry, on the other hand, became more relaxed when she moved in, but his drinking and behavior worsened. Even when he wasn't drinking, his attitude toward me became increasingly harsh. Hey, aren't you drinking too much? It's bad for your health. Shut up, it's my only escape. This is my house, so don't tell me what to do.
He wouldn't listen to my concerns and kept drinking more and more each night.
Honestly, I wanted to marry someone younger. You're just an ATM.
What do you mean by that?
I needed money to support my mother, who raised me alone. When I reconnected with you, I knew this was my chance.
I clenched my fists, trembling with anger, but said nothing.
If it weren't for that, I wouldn't have married a childhood friend. Mom always told me I'd need to take care of her when I grew up. I'm a family man. That's why I'm doing this.
Larry praised himself every time he drank, using his sense of duty as an excuse for his behavior. Despite this, I tried to endure it, convincing myself that family loyalty was admirable.
Mary, what's for dinner tonight? Will you be home in time to cook?
I was still working long hours, so I couldn't always prepare meals or clean the house on weekdays. I'm sorry, I have a business dinner tonight, so I won't be home for dinner.
Another business dinner? You're always trying to impress your clients, aren't you? It must be exhausting being a career woman, constantly pouring drinks to everyone. My parents were successful too, but they managed to keep the house in order.
She often made snide remarks, mocking me. Larry, however, ignored his mother's behavior and continued to drink heavily every night. Why don't you help around the house too? It's not just my job.
I'm too busy with work, and you're the one who wanted to move. This was your choice. Oh, here we go again. You were always a failure. Can't cook, can't clean. I'd love to meet your parents, but they're gone now, so that's impossible.
I couldn't take it anymore. The constant insults, Larry's indifferent attitude, and his mother's cruelty. I'll return those words to you. That's enough. Larry's mother was furious, but I ignored her. A few days later, Larry came home drunk as usual and started complaining.
I should have married someone younger and nicer. That's every man's dream. Why did I end up with you?
Then let's get a divorce. I don't want to stay with you either.
What? You can't be serious.
I had already made up my mind after that argument.
Hey, did you pick up my suit from the cleaners? I have a business dinner tonight and I need it.
Sorry, I forgot.
Seriously? I'll go get it myself. You should be grateful I'm covering for you.
What? You're so useless.
I'll take care of everything at home and you'll take care of the money.
Larry's mother scolded me constantly while Larry continued to drink and complain.
By the way, I'm using your savings to pay for this house. We're a family, so it's all your money, right?
Wait, what? What do you mean by that?
I mean, I designed the house based on what you can afford. I didn't want any debt.
Seriously? You didn't even ask me? Ugh, we're done here. I calmly handed Larry my bank book. He grabbed it and stared at it, his hands shaking.
What the hell? There's nothing left. You had millions.
I told you I had a dream, remember? I finally fulfilled that dream by starting a foundation to help orphans, just like me. I bought land, built a facility, and used all my savings to create a place where kids without parents can live and grow. He was stunned, his face turning pale.
A foundation? You spent all your savings?
Yes, and I'm proud of it.
What? This wasn't part of the plan.
Larry's mother looked over his shoulder at the bank book, her expression identical to his. I've always wanted to build a home for kids like me. That's what I've been working for. You were never interested in my dream, and you used my money to build this house. You should take care of your mother without my money.
Dream? We're married, so your money is our money. How could you not tell me?
And how could you build a house without telling me? By the way, we're no longer married.
What? What do you mean?
I handed Larry the updated family registry. Look, our names aren't together anymore. We're divorced.
Wait, what? I never agreed to this. Did you forge my signature?
He panicked, grabbing the paper.
You're nothing but a disobedient wife. How could you do this over a few chores?
Don't say I didn't warn you. I told you to stop drinking, and you didn't listen. I showed them a video from a few nights earlier when Larry had been drunk.
We're done. I signed the papers, so go file them. We're not married anymore.
I had recorded him signing the divorce papers in a drunken rage.
You fool! How could you do this to me?
Larry's mother glared at him.
I was drunk. You can't get divorced over something like that.
I've recorded everything. It wasn't just one incident. I have all the proof I need.
But I spent a fortune on this house. It's our family home.
No, you spent your money on the house. It's in your name, not mine. Why don't you ask your wealthy parents for help? I'm done with this.
Delete the data now.
Larry grabbed my phone and ran to the bathroom, throwing it into the toilet. What are you doing?
Now there's no proof. I never said those things, and we're not getting divorced.
I'm done. I deserve to be happy too.
No, Mary, please, we can fix this.
Larry started crying, but I couldn't feel any sympathy.
I can't stand watching this anymore. I'm calling your company.
Larry's mother picked up the phone and dialed my workplace.
Hello, I'd like to report one of your employees. She's been treating us horribly. Yes, it's Mary. She's been lying to my son, tricking him into marriage. Isn't that marriage fraud? You should fire her immediately.
She said this with a wicked smile, looking straight at me. Larry's mother had a habit of using the speakerphone so I could hear the entire conversation.
Mary? Is that Mary? This is Hank, the chairman. Long time no speak, Mrs. Hain.
The voice on the other end was familiar. It was the chairman, my boss.
What? Chairman? Yes, I'm her boss. I'm also your father, remember?
Larry's mother gasped, clearly rattled.
Still causing trouble, I see. Nothing's changed since I cut you off.
The truth was, Larry's mother had always bragged about her perfect family, but her parents had actually disowned her long ago.
Larry, I guess you never knew the truth about your mother. let me tell you everything. Your mother was spoiled, selfish, and irresponsible. She never did anything for herself, relying on everyone around her. Your father didn't abandon you. He simply couldn't take her behavior anymore. He loved you deeply. But after the divorce, I had to cut her off. I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner.
Larry's face turned white as he listened to his grandfather's confession.
Mom, you told me Dad left us because he found another woman. Was that all a lie? You've been lying to me my entire life?
He muttered, his voice shaking.
You pretended to be a victim, telling me I was all you had. But it was all lies?
His voice grew louder, full of anger and disbelief.
I tried to marry women who were good at housekeeping or cared for the elderly, but you always found a reason to reject them. Finally, you approved of Mary because of her savings, but now I see it was just because you couldn't get any more money from your family. You didn't care about my happiness at all.
Larry's face was twisted with rage as he realized the truth.
No, Larry, that's not true. You're my only son, my precious boy. I just wanted to live with you because I love you.
Larry looked conflicted, torn between anger and sadness. There was a long silence before the chairman spoke again.
Larry, I could help you. I have the money to buy the house outright. But if I do that, neither of you will learn anything. It's time for you both to stand on your own. Sell the house, rent it, do whatever you need, but don't rely on Mary anymore. Mary, I've officially accepted your resignation request. Losing someone like you is a big blow to our company. But I believe in your mission to help children without parents. You're going to do incredible things, and I'll always support you.
Larry and his mother looked crushed, their faces a mix of frustration and relief. After that day, I moved out of Larry's house. It was in his name, and I had no more ties to him or his mother. I heard that they put the house up for sale, but no buyers have shown interest, so they're still living there together. Now that Larry knows the truth about his mother, I imagine their lives must feel like a nightmare. They're buried in debt from the house, and Larry's stuck caring for his manipulative mother. It's hard to feel sorry for Larry, even though he used to be my childhood friend. Sometimes Larry still calls, asking me to come back.
Mary, please come home. I need you. Let's live together again.
I always politely decline. I just hope their beautiful mansion isn't now filled with Larry's mother's clutter. I'm focused on running the foundation I started to help children without parents or those who can't live with their families. I want to help as many kids as I can, to give them hope and make them smile. That's my dream, and I'm going to keep working hard to achieve it.